So the time has come that we are now cutting a hole in the roof of my Z. So this has been a long-awaited project. Ever since I had cut out the rear quarters of my Z, I have been fighting non-stop smoke issues. I had taped off all of the areas within my wheel well and all of the suspected areas in my hatch as well. And we still have a severe problem with smoke coming through the chassis somewhere, somehow. My lead suspicion is through the, you can see right there, through the area where the speakers are behind the seats. A lot of people cut those out and then they, tape the areas or weld the holes of the chassis, but those are hidden until you cut that area out, and as of right now, I have no plans to do so. So my next best option, after talking to a good friend of mine over at Njuku, Brandon McDowell, who has a very similar setup, we're putting a roof scoop on the car. Now, I'm fitting it. It's black right now. I'm gonna take it over to mill to paint, obviously, but for right now, we're simply just gonna fab everything up. We're gonna get cutting, and we're gonna hopefully fit it. I don't have the objective of fitting it tonight, but I've already done a few steps. So let me show you guys where we're at currently and how much progress I've made, because I haven't started filming until now. So I want to start off by saying that this kit that I had got is an eBay kit. Specifically, it's for a WRX. I'm pretty sure it's for a bug eye. And I'm just gonna see what I can do to make this work. So I wanted something that was sleek, something that kind of went with the body lines. As you can tell, we're gonna need to do some trimming to make sure that the roof scoop actually aligns with the curvature of the roof. Now, the reason I got this roof scoop is because it honestly had inspired me from Need for Speed, where all those cars always had the roof scoops, and I always thought they looked super freaking cool.
See that? Roof scoop. It's gonna make my car go faster.
And so I wanted something similar for my car as well. So the only thing that I'm really stuck on is the fact that I've always liked the style of the offset roof scoop, especially in the cars in Need for Speed. For this purpose, I'm gonna be keeping it in the middle. The chances of this kind of hitting somebody's head or obstructing their view with a helmet on is likely. So that's why we're gonna stick with the middle placement of the roof. But if I did have enough room, I probably would have put it on either the driver or the passenger side. So this is what I've done right now. I started off by simply measuring the distance in between the roof. The roof is 4 inches wide, so that makes it 2 feet. I made a mark here at 2 feet, and it came with a small little stencil here that asks you to cut it out, and then all I did was simply trace it around this painter's tape that I have here. So the only thing that you need to make sure that you're in line with here in a Z is, number one, you have your structure bar right here, and number two, you have another little section right here that you need to avoid. Now, you can obviously place it in these areas. It's just gonna take a bit more cutting, but personally, I didn't want to cut into any of these areas, so my objective is to put it right here in between this area. All right, so it is the next day. I had taken a break last night and ultimately just didn't get back to it. It was right around 10:30, 11 o'clock anyway, and I was getting kind of tired. I had a busy day of meetings beforehand. So it's Saturday morning, and we're gonna get back to it. So essentially where we left off is we're gonna start cutting. I spent a majority of the time last night when I wasn't filming, forming and cutting the actual roof scoop portion. So let me show you guys what I did and what I plan to do to at least adhere this to the roof, since this is a two-piece system. So as you can see, the roof scoop is relatively pretty well formed to the roof. I had to do a lot of trimming in very minute sections. As you can see in the back portion here, there is still a little bit of a gap. I'm gonna be leaving that small gap. In the meantime, like I said, the only thing that's left is to actually cut this template that I traced here on the roof. As you can see, it's gonna be getting into the Charge Hard logo a little bit. Thankfully, we're working with Super Wow Factory and they're gonna be getting me a new Charge Hard logo. I'll probably be moving it back a little bit and also following through with some decals on here as well. And then, like I said, we're probably gonna get Mel to paint the roof scoop as well. So in the meantime, the only thing that's left, like I said, is to cut it. We're gonna get this done and we're hopefully gonna solve all of our smoke problems. And if we don't, then at least we got a roof vent now and I know how to do it, so. All right, so we now have a hole in our roof, sunroof, real nice. Pretty clean cut. As you can see right here, I got a little overzealous. Wasn't watching the cutting blade, that's okay. I'm pretty stoked. So as you can see, there's really not that big of a discrepancy in between the corners. So I'd presume once I put those self-tappers down and the Flex Seal, I'll be perfectly fine in the corners and it should pretty much be air and water tight. So the only thing that I'm gonna do before I start putting all this stuff in is I wanna clean up these edges and I'm going to be getting a little Q-tip with some paint, probably just some black paint, and then we should be good to go. We're heavy with the Flex Seal and then we'll wipe off any excess. Look at that, perfect. I should have put washers around that maybe. All right, so we have cams and some toe arms holding the bead down for now. I'll probably use shorter ones. These are a little long, but regardless, they're working well for now. Now I'm putting the drain in. Once we give this probably about a good 5-10 minutes, got a nice bead around the edge. So we should be watertight, and then we're gonna figure out a way to secure this piece down. All right, so this is what it looks like. As you notice, I didn't put any adhesive on the back. Reason because I want there to still be a little bit of air. Anyway, you'll see the end result. There's really not a huge gap here in the back. Just to ensure that this is centered, I'm gonna be marking the center here. I'm gonna be measuring the distance, and I still have the reference point right there of the center of the roof on the painter's tape. So once this is centered, I'm gonna lay this down and we're gonna test it out. I'd say that's pretty center. Well, the most center it's gonna get because I can't move the hole anyway. But it's on with the adhesive double-sided tape. You can honestly barely tell it's there. I don't think this is going anywhere. I really don't. Amateur consensus after taking the car around the block, I'd say it's a worthwhile mod for sure. You can definitely feel the air coming through. If your car doesn't have AC and you also have a tire smoke problem in your chassis, I definitely highly recommend. Thankfully, I have the luxury of having both AC and a tire smoke problem. So this isn't gonna be used as much for airflow for me as much as airflow for the actual tires. So yeah, it's nice. Very good mod. We don't like that. All right, so this is the last and final look of the actual roof scoop, the car outside. It's really got to grow on me. I thought I'd honestly like it a little bit more, but I think once it's paint matched, it'll not look as sore. But regardless, the function I think will prove to work well. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys tell me in the comments what you think of it. That'll maybe change my mind a little bit. But so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If there's any questions you guys have on the actual install itself, let me know. But I think that was relatively smooth. It's a do-it-yourself project. You just need to measure twice, cut once. So have a good day, guys.